Poštovani gledatelji, lijep pozdrav i dobrodošli u novu epizodu emisije Diplomacija. Kao i obično bavimo se diplomatskim odnosima koje Hrvatska ima s drugim zemljama, a danas je riječ o Republici Italiji. Zato je u zagrebačkom studiju sa mnom veleposlanik Republike Italije ovdje u Hrvatskoj, njegova ekscelencija Pierfrancesco Sacco. Your Excellency, welcome. It's nice to have you here and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. How are you?
Fine. I'm really fine in this new season, spring season in Zagreb.
You're blossoming.
Everything's blossoming. The Festival of Lights happened last week.
Have you visited?
Not just visited, but Italy has been part of it. With our flag, Italian flag was one of the pieces exhibited in the Festival of Lights.
Then you tell me more about it when we come to culture.
Of course.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. You've been the ambassador for 3 years now, is that right?
3 years, 2 months.
3 years and 2 months. Okay, how would you put it in a few sentences? What would you point out as the most important things that happened during your mandate so far?
In one word, I would say transformation. These years have been really transformative years when it comes to Italian-Croatian friendship. We had been sort of taking each other for granted. Good friendship, good relations, good trade, neighbors, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, no new dynamism. So we felt the need to upgrade and to update, both updating and upgrading, and the two governments really were eager to do that. Solidarity when Croatia was hit by the earthquakes, solidarity when Italy was very heavily hit by COVID, mutual help, and so developing a new system of seeing each other, a new way of seeing each other in terms of being neighbors and doing more business together, more political understanding, more consultations between ministries and ministers, visits back and forth, around 23, 24 high-level meetings in 3 years, events, activities, cultural cooperation. A lot of things have been happening, but the key word is transformation.
Transformation, I like it. When we sum all of this up, what would you say about our relationship? The relationship between Croatia and Italy then?
It's really a mature relationship, as I said, in need of being updated to the challenges of green transition, for instance, and Italy has a lot of expertise in that field, or digital transition. And here, Croatia has also a lot of expertise in digitalization. So we can really help each other, grow together, infrastructure development in Croatia, a lot of interest on the part of Italian system. And Italy, last year, after around 10 years, became first trade partner for Croatia again, with really amazing results in terms of bilateral trade. It grew around 50% as compared to 2021. So it's 8.6 billion euros of bilateral trade between Italy and Croatia. And that's really a strong push to move forward with more investments, more joint ventures.
We mentioned economy a bit later. Let me just go back to our relation in terms of European Union. So as you know, we entered the Eurozone and the Schengen at the beginning of this year. Yeah. Do you think it will affect and in what way our relations?
Absolutely favorable impact on the relationship between two neighboring countries. No queues at the border, no border control, so no queues, and you go by car in 2.5 hours from Zagreb to Trieste. It's last Friday, our foreign minister Tajani was in Zagreb, congratulating Croatia, a prime minister, minister of foreign affairs, for both Schengen and Euro, and this is going to really help us in having a even more successful 2023.
Okay, speaking of Schengen and the Eurozone, what would you say about tourism and our relations in that aspect? Do you think it will boost the number this year during the summer and
That's absolutely for sure. It will greatly impact tourism. The Croatian tourism offer is moving upscale, also in terms of prices somehow. So I think that it's important that Croatian tourist agencies and responsible people target, let's say, in an updated way, Italian clients, Italian tourists. Because Croatia is not to be considered now just simply as a cheap destination. It's something different. This has to be explained, but I'm confident that tourism will grow in the two directions, of course. We also would be delighted to welcome more Croatian friends in Italy. And a couple of days ago, I was here in Zagreb at the launching of new plans, strategies of Costa Crociere, for instance, and that's really something that will impact tourism.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. How are you satisfied with the numbers, considering Croatians going to Italy? Are you satisfied?
Well, not really. I think that there is potential for growing. Croatian friends know Italy up to down to Rome, but so the northern part of Italy, Tuscany, Rome, of course. But go southward. There are a lot of wonderful places to visit in Italy, south of Rome.
What would you recommend?
Naples, Palermo, Sicily, Matera, Costiera Amalfitana, Puglia.
For those who want to travel to Italy, listen. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Going back to serious business to economy, you already said that Italy is one of the best trading partner of Croatia. What are the branches of economy that we cooperate on, and where do you see a room for improvement?
Actually, the most important area of cooperation is in the banking sector. Two major Croatian banks, partnership and owned by the two major Italian banks. This has to be harnessed more, and we are going to harness it more. The banks are going to harness it more, because when it comes to SMEs, joint ventures, cooperation between Italian and Croatian SMEs is not yet as important as it could be. So that's an area for improvement. But as I said before, I see on the Croatian market as very interesting also for the infrastructural development. In railway sector, for instance, there is now globally appreciated experience of Italian companies, and they can cooperate with Croatian companies. And in Croatian companies in the ICT sector can also be more active on the Italian market. There is a really good potential.
Okay. What about environment, green infrastructure, and everything about that? That's
sure.
Popular these days.
Yeah. When you then go into the area of public procurement, then maybe some steps forward have to be made in terms of simplifying, also in terms of giving deadlines not too short for companies to better prepare themselves. There is some work to be done in the area of public procurement.
Okay, we'll do it together. What about education? Do you see that we can cooperate perhaps more on that field as well?
Yeah, we have scholarships, Italian scholarships for Croatian students. They can be hopefully boosted. There is cooperation, of course, also in the field of language, teaching Italian language. It's very dear to my heart having more Croatian students able to choose and to keep Italian language throughout all their curriculum. Italian Cultural Institute in Croatia is very active in different fields, and we bring proposals of, let's say, better mutual knowledge in cultural field, in a lot of areas, in a lot of spheres, and in particular, as you asked, education. We are proud of beautiful, well-functioning schools, Croatian system, but fully in Italian. Of course, in particular in Istria. And we are proud to see that more and more Croatian students belonging to the so-called majority go to the schools of the Italian minority. This means that the exchange of cultural roots is really thriving.
Speaking of languages, have you tried learning Croatian?
Just a little bit, but it's very difficult, very tough. And you spoil foreigners because we come here and you speak perfect English. So.
Oh, thank you.
Almost everybody.
What can we do?
Almost everybody.
Okay, talking about culture, you already mentioned something. Let's talk a bit more. So you mentioned the Festival of Lights. Yeah. So Italy.
Young Italian artist Emanuele Panzarini, who produced, actually created this piece of art for our National Day last year, and we contributed to the Festival of Lights with that installation, Italian flag, so of course green, white and red. It was very appreciated, and the Festival of Light was beautiful, and we take part as Italian cultural initiatives, events, to many Croatian festivals. Film festivals, for instance, in Motovun, in Zagreb, in Pula, documentary festival going to start in Zagreb in a few days. Right. There will be 4 or 5 Italian documentaries to be screened. Now we have an amazing exhibition open to Croatian Croatians and tourists in Zadar until the end of May in the palace of the governor in Zadar. Beautiful, wonderful place, and amazing exhibition on applied arts. From Turin. There are really amazing things there, silver, porcelain, textiles. I strongly recommend those who can visit Zadar, or those who live in Zadar, to go and visit that exhibition. I opened it a few weeks ago.
Okay, so you visited already. Okay, amazing. So recommendation from your part to visit. Okay.
Warm recommendation.
Okay, moving on to a bit serious topic, you already mentioned earthquakes. So fortunately, can we perhaps through mutual cooperation and exchange of experience help each other in that segment
That's
as well?
That's not more serious issue, if you allow me, it's a sadder issue. When you have earthquakes, you have to do a lot of things to prevent bad consequences and then to rebuild, restructure, reconstruct. We have been offering a lot of know-how from Italy to Croatian institutions and public, seminars, also business delegations here. There is a study underway on the situation of the plaque between Zagreb and Petrinja, performed by Italian researchers. We hope to organize a seminar end of this year, early 2024, to show and discuss the results in cooperation with, of course, Croatian researchers.
And what would you say, I know it's a bit difficult question, but what would you say how Croatia government handles this question about earthquakes?
Well, it's not up to me to evaluate how the Croatian government is doing this. Everywhere it's very complicated. And unfortunately, people's lives are affected, heavily affected. But we have to bear in mind that it's everywhere extremely difficult because there are legislations, procedures, resources to be spent in a certain time frame. So it's never easy. It has not been easy in Italy. It's not easy in Croatia. And unfortunately, it's not going to be easy anywhere to speedily reconstruct, to satisfy people's demands. But everything has to be done. Everything possible to make sure that families, people can have again their home homes and all.
As soon as possible, of course. Okay, let's talk about people at the end. So what would you say are the differences or similarities between Italians and Croats?
Well, there are a lot of similarities, actually, in particular when we see at the Mediterranean soul of Croatia. Of course, there we really are very similar to each other. I think that Italian people and Croatian people share also a very frank, spontaneous attitude towards personal interaction. There are differences as well, of course, but I see the love of Croatian friends for sitting in coffee shops, in
yes,
bars,
we do love that.
Spending hours outside in square streets is absolutely the same in Italy.
Nice to hear that. Okay. And what about food and climate, perhaps?
Well, climate here in Zagreb, where we are now, is not, as Mediterranean as maybe sometimes we would like it to be. But along the coast, of course, the climate is absolutely similar to most of Italian regions, and really the possibility to enjoy good Croatian food is there. The fusi and Italian pasta are very close to each other.
Yes, they are. You visited most of the Croatia so far?
Yeah, a lot of places. Okay. And I still have some time to visit where I've not been yet.
Okay, and our last topic is the Adriatic Sea. So it's something that we also have in common. Do you think that we can work more on doing something with the sea, on the sea?
Yeah, sure. We, as Italian Embassy, early May, we will organize a seminar on blue economy. Mm-hmm. There are projects also in the Interreg with EU money, EU resources, Interreg, Italian-Croatian Interreg program on sustainably exploiting marine resources, on using Adriatic Sea as really a sea of connectivity. Sustainable connectivity. There are initiatives, projects between Northern Adriatic ports, and also trilateral initiative with Slovenia. Italy, Croatia, and Slovenia are working together to improve the Adriatic ecosystems, and that's really something that will develop a lot in the next future.
Okay, you partially answered my very last question, and that's about your plans as the ambassador in this year, during the end of the year.
We have really a lot of plans. We will work hard to make sure that the most important bilateral event next October in Zagreb is really very successful. It's a committee of ministers, 7-8 ministers each side. Almost a joint council of ministers between Italy and Croatia, so to say, back to back with the second edition of a business forum to really move forward in promoting joint ventures, SMEs, cooperation, and so on. So this is going to be the big event of 2023. Besides, of course, the Week of Italian Cuisine, International Week of Italian Cuisine, next November. The International Week of Italian Language next October with cultural events, exhibitions, seminars, really a lot of things.
I hope we'll see each other on all those things, and we wish you all the best in your future work, and thank you for coming one more time.
Thank you, all the best to Jadran TV.
Thank you. Poštovani gledatelji, došli smo do kraja još jedne epizode emisije Diplomacija. Ostanite uz program televizije Jadran i lijep pozdrav.